Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my living room. Señoras y señores, bienvenido a mi sala. As you see in the upper left hand or maybe right hand corner, depending on who's watching, you see the title of this video is Real Gamers Don't Hate. The reason why I'm titling this video that way is basically because if I don't understand, I really don't get it. How do you call yourself a real gamer, but yet you have so much hate to a competitive console? For example, all the hoopla that's going on with the Xbox One, obviously. If you're a real gamer, you game on anything and everything as long as it's giving you your money's worth on what you're paying for. Shout out to the Mooch, because he points this out all the time. Tell me, what does PS4 have to offer in value over the Xbox One? Because, this is a very, very valid question. How is it that people justify purchasing a PlayStation 4 for its price with how scarce and how little they're offering to their fan base? And yet they reach out and scratch you in the face like cats, or try to stab you in your back when you're not looking, no matter what happens, as long as they're talking in favor of their console. They defend it through and through. They never let it go, no matter how bad they treat it. It's like they basically like being treated like slaves, Maybe it's not a great metaphor, but you get the idea. Now, here's my way of looking at it. For example, Xbox One. The Xbox One offers a better online system. It's a better ecosystem overall. And it's reliable. It's running 3,000 dedicated servers. Okay? And not just simply peer-to-peer. Now, all this parity bullcrap about, games need to be equally based on the power of each console, that they were trying to run by us last year with the Assassin's Creed, as Crab Gamer pointed out last night on his video podcast that they did, and the reality of it is, how is that any different from parity towards Xbox having the better ecosystem, okay, online? Okay, all these companies can use these online dedicated servers for free at no charge, but they don't use them. Why? It only looks like they don't because it's not fair to PlayStation, quote unquote, because they don't have dedicated servers. Now, that's not Microsoft's fault. No, that's not Microsoft's problem. If Sony wants to invest money on things that are not proven to be valuable, like Gaikai, right? To stream their PSN Now network, which they wanted to milk their fans for more money, games they already own, or Project Morpheus, which is VR, basically in the VR space, which is, I think, is going to be a tremendous failure. I don't think it's going to do well at all. Okay, I think it's a waste of money. Even HoloLens, to a certain extent, I don't think it's ready for the masses, and the market is ready for something of that nature. I see that more for, advancements in technology like schools and, medical field. And, like they said, they were working with NASA and things of that nature, which makes a lot of sense. Now, that's, a very valid point. And if you ask somebody, well, tell me what PlayStation has to offer, they can't really answer. So I'm telling you, what Xbox has to offer. I started with the first one, which was online, obviously. And number two, they have a lot more features, okay? A lot more features than the PlayStation has to offer on their console, okay? Don't get me wrong, the share play feature seems like a really nice feature if you were able to share your games one time, maybe two times with somebody so they can check out the game and see how good it is or how bad it is, or if they like it or not. So they have the option to try it out and then go and purchase the game. But in this case, you have Sony fans They every time that they try it out, their time is expired after an hour has gone by, and they just keep sharing the game over and over again, play the entire game, and don't go out and purchase it, being cheapskates. And believe me, I know someone who does this. I have a pony friend of mine that he is notorious. He does not stop doing this. Okay, and that's why developers have been clinged onto it, because it's bad for their business. Who wants to work on something for 2, 3, or 4 years so that somebody can just come blatantly and steal it and play it and enjoy it and not give them any money for it? That is not fair. That is not right. That is a bad business model, just like it is to to the gaming industry in itself as a whole. Okay, we want developers to succeed, and we want developers to survive so that they can continue to make better quality products for us in the foreseeable future, obviously, as gamers. Okay, the Xbox One also offers a better price point. Granted, yes, they were more expensive at launch, but they were giving you more bang for your buck, because the Xbox camera, okay, which will bring me to the fourth reason why Xbox it has better value, is a quality camera. Okay, the Kinect is a quality camera. It's something that you can do many things, like I'm doing this video right now, through the camera. Okay, has a lot to offer. Just the plain simplicity of having the convenience of turning on your console on and off just by simple voice commands, or even doing things like changing from app to app, or gaming while you're Snap and watching your web browser, going to your achievements, or talking to your friends in a party chat, or looking at videos on YouTube, or listening to podcasts, because that's what I do a lot of times while I'm listening to podcasts. I play some games and I enjoy doing this. Okay, this is one of my favorite things I do with the Kinect. Okay, yes, there are many things you can do with the controller, but it's been proven by many YouTubers, such as Rico Owner, shout out to him as well, okay, that you have flexibility, and it's better to have flexibility and options than not to have those options at all and feel constricted and confined. Okay, another value that Xbox gives you. Okay, value number 5, AAA titles, real AAA titles. Okay, from Rare Replay, which I'm enjoying tremendously at the moment, to the Gears Ultimate remastered collection, version, not collection, excuse me, but it's a real remastered, utilizing the real potential and hardware power of the Xbox One to give you potentially that better experience from a game that you knew from the past. Okay, that's how you do real remasters, unlike Sony, that they're just porting over a polished PC port of the existing game to run at a higher frame rate with a native resolution, but no touches on the graphics itself, or the CGI, or even the recording of the dialogue with certain things, or maybe something that they missed that they decided to add on, like a new level or a new CGI to connect with the story to give you a more robust experience. Okay, that is another thing that we're getting AAAs like Scalebound and Crackdown 3 that's coming out next year, and Quantum Break, as you saw, Record, okay? And we have other great titles like Gears of War 4 and Sunset Overdrive that already exist, or Forza Horizon 2, Forza Motorsport 5, Rise, Dead Rising 3, you get the point. The lineup just continues and continues. Another feature, which is the sixth feature, or the sixth reason why Xbox offers a lot more, is backwards compatibility now. You have backwards compatibility. How can you not be happy with backwards compatibility if you bought and purchased hundreds and thousands of games, or hundreds of games rather, and spent thousands of dollars in these games? It's only right that you have the right to continue to carry them over with you. Whether you beat them or not, it's irrelevant. They're yours. Why have to have 3 or 4 consoles laying around because of the fact that in order for you to play those games, you have to own those consoles? It's nice to have them all in one box, and that you can bring them over with all of your things that you had, or even things like, for example, the features that you have on your Xbox One games, like record, snapshot, and things of that nature, you can also do with your existing games, and it rises the graphics to 1080p natively, and maybe even perhaps better frame rate with future patches. Okay, now you have Windows and crossplay. That's another reason you'll be able to use all your features and all your games and stream your games to your PC and possibly vice versa, or even buy games on your PC that you thought you could never play on your console and play them there. You know, whether they're Windows type phones for like your phones or big Steam games. Either way, it's a great reason to be happy and feel, you know, vindicted, because you have these options, as well as things like, you know, we have indies just like the competitor, but our indie games are top quality indie games. Okay, this is reason number 9. Our indie games are top quality. We got games like Cuphead, and we got games like Asher, and we got games that's supposed to come like Below or Inside from the guys and the creators who did Limbo. Okay, super hot, or even the Space Engineer. You know, all these games like Ghost of Tales and Blues and Bullets. Okay, unlike the competitor, that what they're offering you, you know, is those small Atari-looking type games most of the time. I'm not saying they don't have quality games in their indie development department, but they have a lot of games that are basically just games that you can get that look that you could have played on your Atari 2600. Now, am I saying that's bad? No, because again, it's options. But the problem is, and the way I feel about it is, you don't buy $500 consoles. Okay, you don't buy these consoles to play indie games. Okay, especially indie games that you could have played on your PlayStation 3 or your Xbox 360 or your Wii or Wii U, for example. You bought these consoles to experience new next generation style quality experiences, from graphics to open worlds and more characters and more story, you know, robust stories and things of that nature. You do not buy new consoles to play games that look like the old Dig Dug or the old Pac-Man. No, that's not what it is. So don't justify that your indies is very important just because that's all you really have to offer to your customers. In the case of Sony, that is the reason why they push this the way they do, because they don't have a lot more options. So this is why they push it, to make it seem as they're being very helpful to the indie community. And when Xbox, clearly Microsoft, was the one who started this movement way back when with the 360. If it wasn't for them, you would not be seeing what you see today, from the online, from party chats, from having apps on your console. Okay, the apps on Xbox One, another good reason why to own an Xbox compared to PlayStation 4's console, is a freaking joke. We have almost or over 100 apps on Xbox One in such a short time span. To basically, there's something there for everyone. Now, do the apps always work as good or efficient? No, because these companies do not keep up with them, because these companies are not seeing the type of value or the type of activity that they see on PS4 on their apps. So they just update them when they do, when they get a chance, and that's it. And the reason why I say that is because most of PlayStation fans use apps like Hulu and like WWE Network or like Netflix more periodically, because they have no more options. This is what they have in front of them all the time. They don't have a lot of games, so they don't really use the console for games the way they say this, for greatness is for gamers, greatness aways and things of that nature. They use it more for the entertainment value, because they don't have no other options and other things they can do on their console at the moment. Okay? And, yes, they have some AAA titles, but to be honest with you, the only two AAA titles they really have that's probably worth the time of day, but they're also niche titles, would be Bloodborne and Infamous and Guilty Gear X Signs. Those are the only 3 games that I can honestly tell you off the top of my head are worth the time of day. Drive Club, Little Big Planet, Killzone, Knack, even those games are just lackluster. They're not great titles. They're supposed to be AAA titles, but they're lackluster compared to the competition and the competitors, what you're offering, what you get with Forza Horizon and Forza Motorsport, doesn't even come close to what they try to do when they try to do with Drive Club. It's a joke. It's a joke, and that's not being a troll. That's facts. That's reality. Okay, even Knack looked like it should have been an indie game on the PS3, and they sold it to their consumers and their customers as a triple A. It sold to them as a triple A title because they had nothing really to bring out to the consumers after launch. Okay, and that is a fact. Okay, now we're going to have a new UI. The UI for Xbox is amazing. Okay, even as it is, and you have a preview program which you can get all these upcoming features and updates before everybody else in the community. You beta test it, you give them back reports of what's working and what's not, so that they can fix it and tackle the issue. So when it comes out for the whole masses in the gaming community of Xbox community, it's working to the best of its ability at the most efficient value. Okay, that's another thing. The updates they get, the Xbox get, are unmatched. Updates every month. Every month, adding features almost every month. And the other part of that is that when they do the updates, they don't get all of that other craziness and bad, response like in the PlayStation 4 on the Sony console. That when they get their updates, a lot of times it either breaks down their network or even breaks the console in certain cases. Okay, how is that even possible? You're not supposed to do an update for a console to make it perform and act worse than what it already did. And then when it does happen, and these people that aren't their customers try to get their money back or a replacement for their console because it's not working, they tell you blatantly in front of you, you have to pay for it, even though it was our choice to give you this update without really analyzing it and researching it enough and using enough for the engineers to make it work correctly with their operating system and their UI. Everything runs smoothly, and yet they want to charge you for their own mistakes. I mean, that's an insult. That's disrespectful. I don't understand the logic in that. Okay? I don't get it. If you're a real gamer, you don't hate this. These are facts, ladies and gentlemen. These are just a few facts. These are not, there are other things here and there. This is just a few. Okay? For example, the Xbox One right now, they're offering a new competitive controller for everybody that plays Xbox that's competitively involved in the Evo circuit. For example, they have an actual controller that's official from their brand that they can go out and play in these matches and in these tournaments, which is great because they don't have to go to an aftermarket and pay double the amount, sometimes even triple the amount, because believe me, if you don't know, SCUF controllers are extremely expensive. I've seen them as high as $400 or $350, and they don't even have half of the offering that you're going to get with these new Xbox controllers that are coming out in September, October. Okay. Oh, on top of that, Xbox One offers you the best community. They offer you the best community. You have your friends there all the time. You can talk and hang out and do all types of things in the community. When you play on Sony's console, it feels like you're isolated from the world. It feels like you're lonely. Their console just feels like it belongs to somebody maybe that's single, that they can just go in there and play and talk. They're not as vocal or as active. They don't look for one another. And if they do, it feels like everybody's being robotic, or maybe just going through the steps, one step at a time. So I don't see the logic in how can people stand there right in your face and tell you straight up, no, Xbox One is not better than the PS4. Okay, there's just doesn't make any sense. Now we're gonna have a chat pad as well, where you can use it. Yeah, maybe it's not mandatory, but at least it's an option. Again, Microsoft is giving us multiple options. You can buy the console without the Kinect if you choose not to. But to be honest with you, my advice from my personal experience, once you get the hang and use of getting the control of Connect to work properly for your taste and your liking, and you learn how to utilize it, it is fantastic. It is a great piece of hardware. It almost feels like the Xbox is incomplete without it. You need it. Because if you don't have it, it feels like something's missing. Because you can tell it was constructed and created so they both work together in unison, as one, So, I don't know what else to say other than if you're a gamer, come this holiday season, and you already own a Wii U or you own a PS4, you owe it to yourself. You owe it to yourself to go out and purchase an Xbox One. What is the logic in saying, oh, I'll just wait until Tomb Raider comes out next year, for example? And again, this is just an example because I can play it on the PlayStation 4. You're not just buying an Xbox One for Tomb Raider this year. You're buying Xbox One for all the other experiences that you've been getting since launch, okay? That you haven't touched or played. Plus, Tomb Raider is a bonus, like a cherry on top, because to be quite honest with you, a lot of people in the media and these YouTubers don't even think. Once Tomb Raider comes out next year, Xbox can basically crucify their launch and Square Enix for doing their mudslinging. All they simply have to do is okay, once that game comes out, that day that it launches, that month, it could be available for any Xbox Gold member for free. Or when you buy an Xbox One, you can get the copy of the game with another game absolutely free, which would make the Xbox One a more enticing and more attractive purchase. You see what I'm saying? So not only do we get the year of the exclusivity, we can also give it out for free after a year because everybody that purchased and bought it already bought it on the Xbox One side. So that would still make PS4 owners maybe flood over because they're like, wow, I can get it for free here. I don't have to buy a PlayStation now to get the, Tomb Raider or, you know what I'm saying, and things of that nature. Plus, I have all these other games like a Scalebound or a Gears of War 4, okay, or a Crackdown 3, okay? So, if you're a real gamer, don't bullshit. Don't bullshit your fans, your followers, your viewers, your community. You are not a gamer if you don't like Xbox. And this box, okay, if anybody keeps trying to say that Xbox does not give you the best value, absolutely wrong. You're just hating. Real gamers do not do these things. If you're a real gamer, you go out and get whatever you see that's worth your time on the console that you see it on. Okay? It doesn't matter if you have a preferred console. If Xbox is your preferred console, that's fine. But in the case of PlayStation 4, for example, if I want to play games like Horizon, The Last Guardian, Uncharted 4, Ratchet and Clank Remastered from the very first one, which is a real remaster they're giving their customers, okay? The Last Tinker, Guilty Gear X Signs, excuse me, okay? Or even, Until Dawn, even though that's a interactive movie, okay? If I want to play these games, I will go out and purchase the PS4. I'm not going, or Street Fighter, that's another one. I'm not going to cry, oh, why is this not on XB1? Why is this not here? Let's do a petition. This belongs here. That's not fair. It's not right. Like they have done with Tomb Raider. And now, because of them being vocal, Square Enix basically gave in and let the news spill sooner. Okay, even though I'm pretty sure that's not the type of deal that was done and created originally. Okay, because let me tell you something. That's another misconception. Everybody thinks that because the PS4 has, 22 or 25 quote unquote units installed base, that this means that because they have more units, that if developers make and create games for them, that they are going to sell more on that competitive console. That would be the logical way to think, yes, and it makes sense for most business practices. Yes, it does. But in this case, this is not true. This hasn't been true for a long time. When the Wii U sold, it was one of the hottest and highest selling consoles of last generation, the Wii. And it still sits at 120 or 125 million units. But their software didn't sell. Games for them didn't sell. They had great games like Sin and Punishment 2, which was a very sought after sequel that people were waiting for a very long time. And it didn't sell. It maybe sold, what, 25, 35, 45 million, thousand units or copies? That is a joke. That is pathetic. And this is the case with PS4. If you notice, their highest selling console or highest selling game, is what? I believe it's Bloodborne. And Bloodborne sold a little over 1 million units. But this was including digital sales and bundled sales in all their countries. And I think they're out in 104, 103 countries, unlike Xbox, that is only out in 57 or 54 countries, something like that. So again, I know it's basically perception, and they have said this a lot of times in the BGS, but I've said this before to a lot of people I know personally, before I even spoke to them about BGS, the Big Gamer Small Talk. Shout out to them. Okay, it's the cool console to own. It's the cool product and hardware to own, because everybody's buying it. So if everybody's buying it, everybody's thinking, well, it must be good, it must be powerful, it must be better than Xbox, because why people keep buying it. So the perception is that Xbox One, in this case, is the weaker or inferior unit. And that is not the case. We already know this. To be honest with you, I feel that the XB1 wasn't supposed to be released until maybe this year. And a lot of people feel like this also in the YouTube community and the Xbox community, because it's not even using all the assets that are in the hardware to make better experiences and give you the full-on fledged experience that it was meant to give you out of the box all the time from the very beginning. Like they said in their billboards before it launched, it was built for the future. It was future-proof. Okay, and now coming out in November with the Windows 10, I'm pretty sure the DirectX 12 is going to come into play as well. Will it give it 100% more power to the software to utilize better gaming and graphics experience? I don't think so, because it's not a PC. You can't upgrade it, obviously. But I do think we'll see maybe a 25% increase on top of cloud and on top of the ESRAM. So all these things together, plus the cores, is going to make a significant difference in the games. I'm pretty sure we will see this as time goes on. I don't have no doubt. Now, like I said, okay, if you're a real gamer, don't fool yourself. Just go out, and you owe it to yourself this holiday season, and purchase the XB1. It's giving you the best value, the best features, and the best bang for your buck and your dollar. Okay? The competition is not. Not to say that they don't have nothing to offer. No, they're just not giving you what you need at this moment for the money you're spending. That is a big misconception, and it is not a lie or a troll. It is a fact. Okay? Once again, like I said, keep it gaming. Thank you for joining me, my YouTube community, my viewers. Okay, my ex-audience on the Xbox community, obviously. And, I hope I didn't bore you. And I hope that, this gives you a little insight on why XB1 is the clear choice over the competition. In this case, the PS4 and the Wii U. Okay, I didn't even have to really make comparisons with Wii U, because they do their own thing and they don't act disrespectful. But mainly for the PS4 side of things and the community, they're very misinformed and keep misleading people and saying things that are misleading to the YouTubers out there that are watching, their followers that are Sony, YouTubers. they're giving all types of false information that is not true, okay, about the XB1, okay. So once again,